Alright, good afternoon everyone. We are going to be looking at number bases today, and we are going to learn about how to add and subtract number bases, and we are also going to continue by revising how to convert from one number base to the other. So let's start with the exercise 1, where we have to add number bases. This is 55 in base 6 plus 52 also in base 6. Alright, the bases you remember have to be written very small as subscript, and it's a plus, so you have to indicate the sign. So one thing you need to know is, if you are working with base 6, the maximum number you can ever have in your answer, the maximum number in your answer should be 1 less than the base. So this is 5. So if you have a number that is more than the maximum, you have to do something about it. The logic we are going to catch very soon. So let's start. 5 plus 2 is 7. We can't write 7 because it has gone against the rule. Remember the rule? It has gone against the rule. So what do? We divide by the base. What's the base? The base is 6. This will be 1, remainder 1. So we write the remainder, but then we keep the other number. So I'm going to write 1 here, and then I keep the other one. So 5 plus 5 is 10, plus the 1 I kept, that is 11. 11 is too big, is bigger than base 6. Remember, the highest number we want to see should be 5. So this should be 1, remainder 5. Remember, we write the remainder and keep the other number. So we write 5 and keep 1. We are meant to keep it for the next column, but remember there is nothing found there in the column, so we have to write the 1 like that, and the final answer is the same base 6. I think we grab this. Okay, if you get it well, let's try to apply it in the next one to do. This is another example. This time around we are working with base 2. We are adding all of this and we want the answer to be in base 2. Remember the rule? The rule is that the maximum number you should think about is 1 less than the base. So 2 minus 1, that's 1. So we don't want to see any number more than 1 in base 2. So let's add them as they are. The first number is 1, that's 1, 1, 1, 0, 1. Then I have 1, 0, 0, 1, 1 in base 2. I can write the 2 as subscripts like this. Then I have 1, 0, 0, 0, 1 also in base 2. It's a plus, so I put my sign of addition. So I go this way. Now it's time to add them the way we usually add, to subtract. Now, how do we subtract? The methods are similar, but there are some things to take note of. We are subtracting 16,418 in base 9 from 18,030 in base 9. The bigger number is meant to come up first this time. That's 18,630. This is base 9. The other number is 16,418, also in base 9, and now it's a minus. Let's go. Now pay attention, pay very good attention here. In the usual numbers that we usually add, anytime we have to borrow a number from the next one, it comes as 10 to be added because we are working with base 10. Now we are working with base 9. It cannot come as 10, it will rather come as 9. But before we start, remember the rule for our bases. The maximum number we must see should be 1 less than the base number itself. So we don't want to see any number greater than 8. So let's start. This is 3. I want to take 1 from there and bring it here. That makes, sorry, it's not going to be 10. Remember what we said. If you are bringing a number, if you are borrowing a number, it will come as 9. So that is going to be 9. So this will not be 0 again, it will now be 9. 9 minus 8 is 1, and of course it has base 9. So this number that was 3 before now became 2 because I've taken 1 from it. So it's now 2. So 2 minus 1 is 1. So I have 6 left here. 6 minus 4 is 2. 8 minus 6 is 2. 1 minus 1 is 0. You may write it, you may leave it, but that is the answer. So our final answer is 0.22119. I say if you like, you may not put that. You may decide to write it like this, 22111 to base 9. So let's take this out of it. So I believe you understand what is happening here. Let's do one more exercise. This time around, we are adding different numbers at different bases. Now we have 212. This is in base 3. We also have 124. This is in base 4. So 123. This is in base 4. So let's try to add these numbers. But before then, let's try to do something. Since we are going to base 10, we have to convert them to 10. Each of these bases, base 3, base 4, we have to convert them to base 10. So we are using that to review conversion of other bases to base 10. So we are revising this because this has been done earlier. So remember, the rule is to start from the back and number from 0. We increase one by one like that. So you have to start from the back, don't forget. So the next thing is to multiply the number with the base 3 and then to the number we just wrote now, that's 2 raised to the power of that number. Okay, plus I go on to the next number, 1 times 3 raised to the power of the number I just wrote now, which is 1, plus 2 times 3 raised to the power of the number I just wrote now, which is 0. So from there, I can then say, let's solve them now. 3 raised to the power 2, that's 9, times 2, that's 18, plus 3 raised to the power 1, that's 1, times 1, that's 3 still, plus any number or letters raised to the power of 0 is 1. So this is 2 times 1, and that is 2. If you add up all of this, you get 23, but this time around to base 10. Let's look at another one here, the next number. So I have 1 here. I have 1 times 4 raised to the power of, how do I know? I have to renumber it again. Start from the back, 0, 1, 2. So raised to the power of 2, because that's the power on top of 1, plus 2, that's the next one, times 4 raised to the power of 1, that's the number, the power on top of 2, and then the third digits, that will be 3 times 4 raised to the power of 0, the power on top of that. So if I do this, 4 raised to the power 2, that's 16, times 1, it still remains 16, plus 4 raised to the power 1 is 4, times 2, that's 8, plus, remember that any number or letter raised to the power of 0 is 1. So 3 times 1, that's 3. If I add all of this, what will I get? 16 plus 8, that's 24, plus 3, that's 27, now in base 10. So now it's easy to add. We can then add 23 plus 27 in the usual ways. Remember that the usual numbers are in base 10, and then you get 50 to base 10. So if you compare this with the question wants us to find what number it will be if it is base 10. So that confirms to us that x is 50. I hope this make a whole lot of sense to us. I hope we've learned something, and I hope we are ready to do more exercises. Thank you so much for taking your time to listen. Have a nice day.